Oliveira really likes that right roundhouse.
Oh, beautiful cross from Oliveira. I think he sees red right now. Nice long teeps here.
That's what he needs to do. He's a little bit taller, I think, so he should be using this to his advantage. He's letting it all out.
Oh, I love it.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Meet Me in the Basement. We're coming in with episode 42. I did just want to start the episode off with a thank you. We've had a lot of growth on the channel in the last couple of weeks. I think a lot of that's due to consistency, so I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been tuning in. I do see that 75% of the people that are watching this stuff aren't subscribed, so if you could just hit that one little button, it would help me out a lot. But other than that, thank you for tuning in. Hope to keep earning your respect and keep earning your viewership. So with that being said, I also want to give a shout out. We had him on the show a couple of weeks ago, Justin Oliveira, my boy, dude, teammate. We've been training together for 3-4 years over at Top Team. What a stellar performance he had last night at Combat Zone 84. I'm telling you, man, kid was slipping punches, rolling punches. His hands look crisp and fast. I mean, we all know he has the power. I've been talking about that since I met the kid. But, I mean, it just all came together in those beautiful body kicks. Shout out to his opponent, too, Seth Dalton, because, I felt those shots, brother. I can commiserate with you, man. He stayed in there. He stayed tough. He did what he could. He's trying to win the entire fight. So respect to that. Respect to his team. But awesome, awesome performance from Justin. We're all wicked proud of you, dude. Seriously, I couldn't have imagined it going any better than that. Seriously. Shout out to Seth Dalton. Awesome game opponent. Shout out to Justin. We'll have him back on the show soon. Talk about the win. Talk about how he feels. But for now, let him rest. Let him relax. Let him enjoy the spoils of victory. And we'll get back to episode 42. So, again, thank you all for tuning in. So let's get right to it. We had some announcements. We have UFC 304 coming together for UFC Manchester over in England. They're kind of screwing the fans a little bit on that one. So I don't know if you've heard, but the rumors are that it's going to stay at the same normal fight card time. So for us, it would be 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock on the West Coast where they would be, the main card would start. Well, that's cool for us and everything. What that means is, though, in Manchester, England, it'll be 3 o'clock in the morning when the main card starts. That's kind of crazy. I don't even know how they don't have, a curfew on the event center to even be able to do that. But, I mean, I don't know. But they'll be leaving the arena at, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. People will be fucking passed out in the stands. I mean, is it really so hard to give us an afternoon pay-per-view when you're going to be over in Manchester, England? Let them have it at their normal Saturday night. Let us have a nice afternoon card, which everybody loves. Those always go over well. It's way better than having to stay up until 2:30 in the morning. You get one day to get ready for the work week, and then it's back to waking up at 4 in the morning. Come on, give us the one time. Give us the one-time afternoon card. I'm down with it. Tyson Fury versus Usyk, which, shout out to Usyk, he just won. That was an afternoon card. Literally, the main event wrapped up as Justin's fight was starting, which Justin was the first fight on the card. So it was 6 o'clock. That went fine. What's wrong with that? You can do it for Abu Dhabi, but not for your fans in Manchester? Come on, they got a champion for the first time. 2 of them with Tom Aspinall, because I'm counting him as the actual champion now that he's defending the fucking interim belt. We'll get to that eventually. Either way, that's kind of crazy. Screwing the fans over. But let's get into the fight a little bit. So, we all know Leon Edwards has been on an absolute tear. I mean, we had the stellar knockout of Kamaru Usman a couple years back where he won the championship. No one saw that coming. Pulled it out of his ass in the last minute of the last round after probably losing. The judges' scorecards obviously came out, so definitely losing the 4 rounds leading up to that. Then he goes on, wins the rubber match with Kamaru, dominant performance over 5 rounds. Then he dominates Colby Covington again for 5 rounds. Both of those matchups I would see being a problem for Belal Muhammad, so I mean, I don't know. I'm really leaning towards Leon in this fight. I think that's pretty obvious. I think the UFC delayed booking this fight for so long, hoping for another contender to rise, because they don't think that it's going to be that crazy of a fight, which I'd have to agree with. I'd say it's probably going to be Belal missing a lot of shots, shooting for a lot of takedowns and not getting them. If you watch the first fight between these guys, I got the stats pulled up right here. Leon Edwards in the first round in 10 seconds, whatever it went into the second round, landed 19 of 39, with Belal only landing 8 of 26. Leon mixed it up pretty well, too. I mean, he went to the head 52%, 26 to the body, 21 to the leg, whereas Belal was 87% to the head and 12 to the body, which with 8 strikes means he landed like 1.5 strikes to the body, I guess. Whatever the fuck that means. Cut it. So, yeah, like I said, not close. Not close at all. I mean, Leon was landing that beautiful 1-2. Like, literally every time Belal tried to reach forward, it was just pop, 1-2, right down the center. Pop, 1-2. He landed it like 6-7 times. Had Belal on ice skates with the head kick. That was nasty. Same one that he won the belt with. So, left kick, left hand with the left kick behind it. So, sorry, it's early morning. I'm filming this. I'm a little out of it in a daze. That's why I got all my stats right here, and I got all the UFC stats pulled up and show notes. Got to be prepared. So, yeah, like I said, Leon dominated the first fight. That eye poke was very, very bad, though. Like, he hooked under the eyelid and, like, pulled it out. And I mean, we all love to meme the shit out of Belal crying, and to be honest, it'll probably even be the thumbnail to this video because, unfortunately, stuff like that gets clicks, and I'm trying to get the views. But it was a very bad eye poke. Nothing really to be made fun of. I wouldn't want to continue a fight after getting beat up for 5 minutes and then getting my eye completely destroyed. Because it was bad. I mean, you can look at the pictures. It was not good. So, yeah, like I said, I don't see this fight going any differently. I mean, hopefully differently with the eye pokes, but I think it's going to be Leon just touching Belal for 5 rounds. He might even drop Belal eventually. Because, like, I don't think he's going to have a one-shot knockout on Belal like he did Kamaru in the final round. I think it's going to be more cumulative where Belal's just, like, overextending and reaching with overhands like he was in the first round of the first fight, and I just don't see it going too well for him. So, yeah, I mean, if he proves me wrong, he proves me wrong. It's happened before. This is the sport that we watch. It's impossible to say that, like, oh, I know for sure what's going to happen. Everyone knows. I mean, look at Leon winning the championship. No one saw that coming. It was 1 minute left out of 25 minutes, and he just put the lights out. So, anything could happen. Belal's got some sneaky kicks. He's really not a striker at all, but he does have some sneaky kicks that come out of nowhere once in a while that are pretty fast. So, he could catch Leon with something. It could be possible. Leon could be overlooking his striking, and Belal might just throw that kick up there, and, you know, shit happens. Chin to chin, you're going to win. That's what I say. All right, so let's move on from that. We did have some alleged DMs leak from Jon Jones where some fan wrote him, I don't know, whatever the fan said was left out, but Jones was basically like, yeah, I'm getting $15 million for this Stipe fight, and then I'm quote-unquote, writing off into the sunset. Not riding, writing off, whatever the fuck that means, John. But, yeah, I don't know why you're spending so much time worrying about Tom and talking about Alex if you're planning on just riding off into the sunset. Also, maybe vacate the belt, seeing as how Stipe is like 43 years old. You haven't defended it in, what did we say in the last episode? It's been like 422 days or something like that. I don't know. It's been at least 7 more since then. 6.5 more since then. So, because we're filming every week now. Right on. But yeah, so like, dude, if you just want to have the super fight with Stipe, with or without the heavyweight championship, that would headline a card. Absolutely. It's both of you guys riding off into the sunset, like you just said. We'll all buy that. Stop fucking with Tom. Vacate the belt. Have your fight right off into the sunset. Like I said earlier, I'm kind of considering Tom the undisputed heavyweight champion if he wins this fight with Curtis Blaydes because, like, he's defending the interim belt. That's disgusting that he's being made to defend the interim belt. Strip John. Tom, he's obviously getting pay-per-view points as the interim champ, but I imagine with Leon on the card as an actual champion and Leon headlining, I can't imagine it's the full split that he would get if he was the actual undisputed champion. So, I mean, like, stop fucking with the division. You already did this to light heavyweight. We just now, finally, got the first light heavyweight champion to defend against a light heavyweight. Finally, since John left that division. You're really going to do that to heavyweight now? When are we even going to see this Stipe fight? I don't know. But, speaking of Jon Jones, let's talk about the actual heavyweight division of the UFC. Aspinall versus Blaydes was announced. Aspinall versus Blaydes 2 was announced for UFC Manchester to co-main underneath Leon versus Belal. So we're going to have 2 rematches that both ended kind of fucked up, with Leon versus Belal ending in an eye poke, and then Aspinall versus Blaydes one ending with Tom tearing his ACL like 15 seconds into the fight. So this one is a lot different than like we talked about with Leon Belal kind of going the same way it did before. This one, we didn't see much happen at all. So it's really anyone's guess. I mean, Tom is the fucking man, dude. Like, let's take a look at his record right now. Tom, let's see. So, that injury, KO in the 15 seconds of the first round, took place July 23rd of 2022 against Curtis Blaydes. Since then, he knocked out Marcin Tybura in the first round, 1 minute and 13 seconds in. Then, obviously, everyone knows he knocked out Sergey Pavlovich on November 11th, 2023, 1 minute 9 seconds into the round. Now, let's talk before that, because before that, Tom was gunning that championship down regardless. So, I mean, he comes into the UFC with a 45-second knockout over Jake Collier, a minute and 35 against Alan Baudou, knocked out submitted Andrei Arlovsky, a rear naked choke in round number 2, 1 minute and 9 seconds in. Sergey Spivak, first round, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, knockout. Alexander Volkov, first round, 3 minutes 45 seconds, straight armbar. Kid is fucking unstoppable. Unless you can get him to tear his ACL, like, good night, because it is not going past the second round. Literally, not a single UFC fight past the second round. That's crazy. Kid has never gone more than 6 minutes in the UFC. And you're going to tell me that a 43-year-old Stipe is a more compelling matchup? Like, I love Stipe. One of my favorite fighters of all time. I watched him beat the shit out of Francis Ngannou live. I was there. All respect to Stipe. That is not the Stipe you're fighting. And we all know that that's why you want that fight so bad. Have that one last win. Go off into the sunset. And you know what? Because of everything that we're all saying about Stipe, I kind of hope he fucking knocks Jones out. I would never say that before because I do love Jones. I know we talk a lot of shit about him because he's always giving us shit to talk about. But Jon is the fucking man. Like, he's the GOAT. No denying it. You want to take this, whatever. Steroid accusations aside, there was a whole lot of that going on in Jon's come-up years, so, you can't really hold that against him because probably everyone he was fighting at that time was also on steroids, so, guy's the GOAT. But he's always doing crazy shit and giving us shit to talk shit about. That was a lot of word shit in that last couple seconds. Maybe I'll have to edit some of that out. Nah, we're past 10 minutes. Fuck him. But, yeah, anyways, he's always giving us shit to talk about, so I feel like I always sound like a Jones hater, but I don't hate the guy. Just, you're always doing shit like this, so, I don't know. Curtis Blaydes, his record's not looking as good as Tom's. Obviously, he has the win over Tom, because Tom tore his ACL. That was back in 22. Since then, he's lost to Sergey Pavlovich, who Tom knocked out, and he won fraud check in Jolton Almeida, which nothing against Almeida. He's young in the UFC. He's not young, but he's young in the UFC, so he's got time to continue on. But, like I said, I'm pulling for Tom. Curtis could put the lights out. He could take him down and ride him the whole time. But Tom's good everywhere, dude. Like, I don't know. I'm rooting Tom on that one. I think it's going to be a big night for England on, what's the date of this card? I don't know. Whenever the fuck it is. But, like I said, I'm rooting for Tom. I think he's going to win. We'll see what happens. Alright, so with that being said, let's get into our next topic. What's his name? Colby Covington. Yeah, what's his name? He deserves that. Colby Covington has officially ducked Ian Garry. Pretty crazy. We're normally saying officially booked to fight, but nope. Colby once again has gone on Twitter and talked a bunch of shit about a fighter for a year and a half, 2 years, until he gets to the point where Colby could actually fight him as a realistic opponent. And then what does Colby do? He says, no, I would never accept that fight. You're a bum. Why should I accept that fight? And denies it. What else is new, dude? You took this whole heel character to avoid getting cut. You are going to get cut if this is the way that you act, dude. You've been in, 3 undeserved title fights for no fucking reason at all. Lost all of them. Fight nobody. I felt bad for Colby a couple years ago when he got stripped of his interim belt, but you know what? Right on, Dana. You made the right move, because this guy is a fucking clown. And, whatever, yeah, I know, we'll say that to his face, he'd fuck you up. Maybe, yeah, he's a fucking former interim champion. He's still a fucking clown, dude. This whole heel thing, I can only respect that if you're fucking putting in the work and, putting on performances. If you're going to also sit on the sidelines and talk shit about everybody and duck every fight that gets offered to you against real contenders, fuck off, dude. See you in Bellator. Have fun. You can go fight Yoel Romero. See how that works out for you. So, I don't know. Fuck Colby. Alright. So, speaking of Ian Garry, though, there are some rumors that he is going to also be on that UFC Manchester card, facing none other than Michael Venom Page. Page had a huge performance against Kevin Holland. I did not see that fight going that way, so shout out to him. He was just way too fast for him. I'd say MVP's probably going to have the speed advantage again in this Ian Garry fight if I were a betting man, which I'm not because I'm against gambling. It's a sin just like alcohol. But anyways, yeah, I think MVP is going to be really, really fast for Ian Garry, so that's definitely going to cause some problems. Ian is what? Let's say, yeah, he's 14-0 as a fighter. So, I mean, he's definitely, like, had enough experience to, like, get to that point of leveling up, but we're going to see that happen in the fight. Like, I think first round, it's going to come out and MVP is going to stay at a distance, fast 1-2, kick the shit out of his leg a little bit from a distance, probably those stomping side kicks too, side kicks to the body. But if Ian Garry's who he says he is, I think we're going to see in the second and third round him breaking past that plateau, and I think he's going to be able to close the distance. Because if not, it's going to be back to the undercard. But yeah, and I mean, MVP is getting older too, so like he's only going to have that speed for so long. I don't think he's lost it yet. It hasn't been that long since the Kevin Holland fight. So I think, like I said, that's going to be Ian Garry's biggest thing to deal with. But if Ian can just come straight down the center and not wind up and not telegraph his punches, he's going to have the power advantage, and I think he can eat some of MVP's shots just to close the distance. Because, I mean, we saw Mike Perry do it. If you can eat a couple of shots off of MVP and close the distance and get to him, you can start kind of breaking his composure a little bit. I mean, MVP, as great as a striker as he is, he's been able to be knocked out before. I mean, Douglas Lima took him off his feet with a literally, like, slapping inside low kick, and then, boom, lead hook knocked him right out. And no disrespect, I mean, that is what it is. It happens. I've been hit with shit that I didn't see coming before. So, I mean, again, I'm not disrespecting MVP. I'm just saying it is possible for him to get knocked out. So, we'll see. Maybe Ian Garry levels up. Maybe not. Maybe MVP fraud checks him. It is the year of the fraud check, as we just talked about with Almeida and several other fighters the last couple of months. So, who knows? But I would like to see Ian Garry level up because, I mean, MVP, while he's fun to have around, the chances of him getting towards a title, not super likely. My biggest thing is I always kind of wanted to see MVP versus Wonderboy when they were in their prime because, like, I always kind of felt like MVP is like the Wonderboy light, like the free version of the app of Wonderboy. Wonderboy is the real deal Holyfield, so I don't know. I don't even know if in his prime MVP would ever got to a title. I think Ian Garry, with how young he is and the skills he's possessed, could potentially get there eventually if he can get past this one big test. And then, I mean, obviously there'll be a few more tests along the way, but this is the one to worry about now. If he can get past that speed and close the distance and win this fight, he's going to have to make it a dogfight, but I think he's able to do that. I know Ian Garry likes to be clean, likes to not really get into those dogfights, but he's going to have to for this one. So, we will see what happens. Let's move on. So, number one clown himself, who we were just talking about, Colby Covington, instead of fighting Ian Garry, apparently now wants to fight Charles Oliveira, former fucking featherweight, former lightweight champion. He wants to fight him at welterweight? Why? That doesn't make any sense. You literally just ducked the shit out of a great opponent that you could have fought in Manchester or in front of his home crowd, got a bunch of fans back that you've lost over the last couple of years, but no. Instead, you want to call out a guy who we fucking adore, who's arguably 2 weight classes below you. Dude, this is not the move. Again, UFC is going to cut you if this is how you're going to play. They're not booking that fight against Oliveira. Even if Oliveira was like, yes, I want that fight, not a fucking chance. There's shit going on at lightweight, dude, and you are not a part of it. You want to cut to 155? Go ahead. I'll shut the fuck up. You're not going to do that, though. We all know it. So you're not dragging Oliveira all the way up to fucking welterweight so you can try to finally get a win for the first time in 5 years. Not happening, dude. Absolutely not happening. No one respects that call-out. That was almost as bad as Joaquin Buckley calling out Conor McGregor. But just for reference, it's on the same fucking level as that. Like, make no mistakes. So, whatever, Colby. I was a fan of you, and I'm like, embarrassed because, like, I argued for Colby for a couple of years. Like, obviously, I was picking Kamaru, at least in the second fight. I don't know how I felt in the first fight. It was a couple years ago, but it's all on camera, so you can fraud check me if you want. But anyways, I'm embarrassed for, like, literally supporting him and being like, no, it's an act. He's not really that big of a piece of shit. He's a really skilled fighter. Give him a shot. But I can't respect any of the shit that he's been pulling. So, bye-bye. See you later. Have fun in PFL-ator. Let's move on. Khalil Rountree is going to be out of, I believe it was UFC 303 that he was booked to fight Jamal Hill. Which, I mean, Jamal Hill should be thanking the Lord because he had his back on that one because it was way too early. I've been saying that. You've seen it all over my Instagram reels. You've seen it in the last couple episodes. I was not a fan of this fight being booked so quickly after him getting knocked out. So he's very lucky. Khalil Rountree failed for DHEA, which is an over-the-counter supplement. It's nothing crazy. It's not like an anabolic steroid. Basically, it's just a hormone that your body produces in syncopathy, I guess. But it's a hormone that your body produces alongside testosterone. So when you take it, it tells your body, hey, we got to make more testosterone to make up for that. How I know this is because several fighters have failed for it before. So, yeah, I've done my research, and then it was when we were inconsistent, so I didn't do a podcast about it. But look at that. I stored it in the banks, and it came back to serve me later. So, DHEA he fails for. His excuse, Khalil Rountree, is that he has a supplement company that sends him a regimen, and they know all of his restrictions, and they said that he was good to go. None of that really matters, my friend. You're kind of on you. Like, you gotta be the one to check what the fuck is in what I'm taking. Especially if it was, like, clearly labeled, like, this includes DHEA, and you just didn't look at any of the labels, because you're like, I told them what I can take, and they said this was good. That's on you, brother. So, I mean, he's cooperating with everyone, and, I guess it's not USADA anymore, but what are they, VADA now? I don't know who's testing for the UFC, since we're into the new year without USADA. But he's saying, oh, I'll cooperate, I'll send everything in, I'll give you all my information, everything I took. But, I mean, it's kind of late for that, my friend. You took DHEA. And this was, like, a big opportunity for Khalil. Because, like I said, like, 9 times out of 10, I probably would have picked Jamal Hill. But because of the circumstances, I was going with Khalil. Now, I mean, if you get the fight rebooked, it's going to be a long time from now. He's going to be fully recovered. So that advantage is out the window. So I'm back on the Jamal Hill train. Woo! Back on Jamal Hill. So... yep, like I said, out of the UFC 303, which is crazy because that's the Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler card, and there's not a whole lot of big-name fights on that card. This was like the one other bigger fight that they've announced. They announced 10 fights so far, with this one including, so I think there was like 3 or 4 maybe that they would announce, so maybe they put an extra one on this card now, but we're getting to the point where it's 8-9 weeks away. Fighters aren't going to take that fight, without a full camp, especially on a Conor McGregor card, so... they're going to have to write some fat paychecks for that one. But, yeah, either way. Who knows? I mean, it'll still sell like a motherfucker. It's Conor McGregor. He holds like 5 out of the top 6 pay-per-views. They just broke 20 million on the gate of this already, which is a record, so... I don't know, dude, but either way, check your supplements. Don't trust everybody else. It's on you. And, yeah, don't take DHEA if you want to be a fighter. So, moving on. We did just get another announcement that I don't know if anyone cares about, but we'll talk about it anyways. Darren Till will be fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in a boxing fight on the undercard of Tyson versus Paul, which will be July 20th, 2024. I still don't really care about this card. It's going to be on Netflix, so I'll probably watch it because it'll be free because I already have Netflix. But, I mean, I love Darren Till. He's a heavy southpaw Muay Thai fighter, and when I first started training, he was one of the people that I really based my skill off of. Or not skill, he's one of the people that I based my style off of. I mean, I don't want to get too into why that is or how that is, but it was him and Kelvin Gastelum were the two that okay, I see myself in them a little bit, I'm going to focus on those things. So to see Till not have a win in 5 years, whatever, yeah, he's on a 3-fight losing streak. The last time he won was Kelvin Gastelum in 2019. I mean... they can't be paying him that much either. It's fucking an undercard fight on something that's free. It's not even pay-per-view. It's on Netflix. So, I can't imagine Till's getting the fattest paycheck of his life. He'd probably get a lot more money if he were to fight someone like Mike Perry and BKFC. I mean, they were talking back and forth online. There's a lot of hype behind that. They're both former UFC fighters. The Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., while he's, a legit boxer, he's coming off the loss to Anderson Silva, and that was fucking 3-4 years ago now at this point. I don't have the exact date, but... I mean, a while ago, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I'm rooting for Till, but I don't think this is the move. He's still saying that he sees himself being a UFC champion one day, but, I mean, the clock is ticking, dude, and this is not helping you get back to that path. There's nothing... fighting a washed Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., which, no disrespect, I mean, that was disrespectful to say, but I'm not a boxing head, so I shouldn't even be saying that. I'm not an expert. But either way, fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is not going to, progress you to getting back to the UFC and becoming a UFC champion. It's an entirely different sport. It would be one thing if it was kickboxing, because at least it's half of it. It's the full striking side of the sport, and you're just going to get back to the grappling. But even that would be crazy because you don't want grappling's the important part. You're a Muay Thai striker. You have a million Muay Thai fights. grappling's the thing that you need to stay on if you want to be a UFC champion at 185 pounds. The fuck, dude? You're going to fight Julio Cesar Chavez and then what? Come back and fight for a UFC title? Not a chance. I don't know. I love Till. Respect to him. I hope he does well, but I just don't. I think this is kind of fucking pointless. And I hope he gets paid well, but like I said, you get paid a lot higher to fight Mike Perry and BKFC. Well, granted, that's a lot riskier of a fight, but a way bigger paycheck, and that is that same skill level where you're like, okay, I'm getting back towards fighting in the UFC. Not maybe UFC champion, because we all know Mike Perry wasn't like the greatest UFC fighter, but he's done great things in BKFC. He was a middle-of-the-road fucking 170, and did he ever fight at 185, Perry? I don't know. But he was, like, up there, you know what I mean? Like, that would be a much better test if that's the real path you want to go on. I don't know. I think Till thinks that he can win this fight really easily, so he wants that paycheck. And, I mean, like I said, it's been 5 years since he's got a win, so it'd be nice for him to have that, but I don't know. Good luck. So, with that being said, we're going to wrap up episode 42. Thank you all for tuning in again. Thank you very much. If you could like and subscribe, that's huge for me. Shout out to Justin. We're all so fucking proud of you, brother. I'm going to go watch that fight again. I got it screen recorded on my phone. We'll have him back on the podcast soon to talk about his win and how he feels. Maybe even do a breakdown of that fight because, like I said, I do have the footage of it. So, yeah. We'll talk to you on the next one. 7 days from now, baby. For now, keep tuning in. Thank you all.